Welcome to Deals with Heels, where female entrepreneurs thrive. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Christina.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
I'm so excited about this guest.
You and me both. You know where my heart is always at, so I'm so excited. So let's bring her on.
Let's do it. Our guest is Audrye Arbe, I think is how you pronounce it. She is an ever-evolving being who is astounded to be healthy, well, and active into her 8th decade. An artist, she now paints frequency stones that both help ground the recipient as well as uplevel their vibration. Her online courses inspire and spur transformation to participants. She knows we are magnificent beings with unlimited potential. She is here to realize it for herself and for you. She is an author, a clairvoyant, a transformation coach, mystic, and artist. Please welcome Audrye Arbe to Deals with Heels.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I am personally actually great. I'm sending a lot of healing energy to my beloved sister who is in the process of choosing what kind of transition she is going to make.
And by the time we get up to 80 years old, you realize that not everybody makes it that far. I'm 57 and you know,
My
not
mom died
everybody
at
makes
38,
it that far.
so
yeah, you're the
You're
same
about
age as your mother.
Huh?
What age?
My mom died at 38, yes.
Yeah, so she's the same age that her mom died.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's a
No.
big deal for her this year. But you're such
Wow.
in a different place than your mom
Oh,
was, for sure.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm 57 and have spent, I raised 5 kids. And so about 4 years ago, my marriage fell apart and I really started over and found myself again. And I'm back in my own skin, feeling fantastic. And you can tell, right, when you're on your soul path.
yes.
I'm back to where I'm supposed to be. Not that I regret raising my family or any of the choices I made back then. I had a time when I had regrets for not making different decisions and choosing different paths, but I've made it through that. And now I am grateful for all of it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And that's all we can
Because
be is grateful for each breath and each day that we get to be here.
We were listening. Oh, go ahead, please.
At 57, you're about to have your second Saturn return, which happens at around 58, give or take. So it'll be a time to really assess, which you are doing, where you are, who you are, what's going on, what lessons need to be learned, what lessons are. When you really are learning them, Saturn is like, quote, the taskmaster, but it helps keep us on track.
Saturn has been on my butt for a while now, then, is what I'm going to tell you, Audrye, is that I have been in that whole mode for the last 4 years. I really have. So, especially the last two and a half. My mother passed away in 2021 and we were really close. And it was really the final catalyst to make me take the steps that I needed to do. And doing the podcast with Christina has helped both of us.
Oh, yes.
Go further into our transition into.
Because it happens, I'm not doing the math right now, but everyone's a little different, but between the ages of 56 to 59. So given what you've just told me, I would say you've really been in it. And
Yes.
when we come through it, I remember the age.
I feel
This
like
is my last year of my 30s, so I'm excited to go into my 40s because not a lot of people realize this at such a young age, and then it's going just with the norm, and then they realize once they're empty nesters and all of this, like, oh wait, who am I? So to be able to do this in the mix of being with my kids and raising them differently and having a different marriage and just being a completely different individual that puts herself first. Like, I'm sorry, I don't put my kids first. I put myself first so I can put into my kids.
Right. And I really gave everything, I think, to my kids. I had 5, and it was hard to build a career when you have that many kids unless you want some of them to be criminals. They all need attention, not just a couple of them. But I find your story inspiring just because I am kind of a late bloomer on my journey, and I'm started over at such a late age. And I love to see you're so young and vibrant at your age, and I
Thank
am for my
you.
age as well. And so I love to think, because I'm like, if I want to be doing this till I'm 85, I want to do it till I'm 85. And I had to make some significant changes to my physical health along with my spiritual and emotional healing. My physical health had to come first. I mean, it's been such a long process, but to really take those final steps, I had to take better care of myself. I had let myself get kind of frail after my mother died. I just wasn't in a good place. And so I love to see it. It's so inspiring. I'm ready to hear a little bit about your journey.
Okay, so I had my daughter when I was 38, interestingly enough. So I'm like on another
Oh.
end. And I did my best to raise her. It ended up, I'll just kind of synopsize that although I had a partner, I didn't make her on my own. I ended up raising her myself. I stayed with him for a while. I split with him. He died when my daughter was 7. So I became what she had called her mom dad. And I did my very, very best. And I'm not the traditional person I actually had attempted to be. I'm just not. I mean, I'm a psychic healer, artist, blah, 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 blah. And I left the working field at a certain point because it's not my thing, and raised her being and doing what it is that I am being and doing. And is it worth it? Ladies, everyone, follow your path, follow your heart. Align your being with your heart and your soul. Is everyone going to agree with you? Frankly, no, they're not. Will everyone think you're doing the best thing? No, they will not. Does my daughter think I could have done things differently? Yes, she does. Okay.
We
Does
all
she?
do. We all
Okay.
do, right? We all
So we
think that
get
things
that.
could have been better.
Oh, yes.
We all imprint that some kind of trauma on our kids that we don't even realize that we're doing. And if you're raised with siblings, you don't see their trauma. You're living right next to them and they've got something different than you
Mhm.
do. It's just life. It's just the way it's set in the stars. It's
Well,
going to
and
happen this way no matter what we do, I think sometimes.
well, because we're
I
all different
call,
and
like when we're born and when we take our first breath, when the baby, infant takes its first breath, to me, um, one is breathing in, the baby is breathing in. That's all of us because we all had a first breath, is breathing in the vibration that's happening on the earth at that time. All of it. And in the cosmos, it isn't like nothing. And when whoever we are, whatever we are, we have that in ourselves, in our DNA, in everything. The guides call it genetic karmic patterning, GKP. Now some people call it ancestral conditioning. GKP is even deeper. It's whatever your biological ancestors might have been, whatever. I'm going to use my language, so I hope it's okay.
yes.
Absolutely.
Whatever one may have been, because we've incarnated in many different places, in many different planets, not just the Earth, various different timelines, all of this. So, whatever I'll use the word imprint might be, it's there. So, part of the job, which is joy of being, that we have now, is one, to identify that, two, to clear that. And some people think that you can just clear it with affirmations. I wish. OMG. I wish. Okay.
She sounds like she's talking my language, doesn't she? Because I'm like, oh, if it were only that easy.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Not
if we
easy.
could clear it with good intentions and goodness and happy thoughts, wouldn't that
Yeah.
be fantastic, Audrey?
It's work.
Yes.
It is energetic frequency work. Do I do that kind of work? Yes. Do I do it on myself? Yes. Do I have other people doing it on me where I'm like, yeah, like that? Yes. And yes, I am in my 80s. And ladies, and if there's gentlemen or whatever, whoever identifies like whatever they do, so I'm just going to be inclusive and just say that.
100%.
Yes.
Okay, so whatever. I identify woman, she, her, all that. Whoever identifies whatever, that's your identification. I am still clearing because of some of the stuff coming up now. Um, And I will simply say this, and hopefully I can say my sister is great. She is in the process of, a friend of mine calls it in the garden, making the choice as to
Is there a
whether
book
she.
about that? It seems like there's a book about that I'm thinking about that talks about that, and they call it In the Garden. Does your friend have a book?
No,
Well, I like
I
it.
do. I have 4 books.
I, I,
Um,
I know, but they're not called In the Garden, but I like that term. It
isn't
just
it
seems so
great?
pleasant, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it's one
Seems
of
like
those,
a
and
really
it's that
pleasant
that
place.
just it does, and that's sometimes it's like, okay, am I ready to completely commit to the garden, or do I still have?
Well, I can tell you this: when I had one near-death experience when I was birthing my daughter. And for people who haven't had this, not everybody gets this, and I'm not saying run out and have one. Okay, not saying that. However, it is and was one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life. I'm an artist. I meant to have my rocks and my art right here. Oh, I have. These are a few prints of some of my paintings. This one, and this one. But now
Oh,
I'm painting
cool.
rocks, and I can run and get some. And they're called frequency stones. Anyway, so I'm into colors. I'm into raising frequency. I can do a breathing attunement that everybody's frequency will go up. This is beyond anything. It is the word loving. A lot of us use the word loving. This is the most loving, amazing, color intensive energy for beyond, beyond, beyond. It's literally living in the realm of the sacred. And so the guides, um, first they told me where I was, and I told them, no, I'm not. Seriously, they told me when we had our dialogue, I was talking to the shiny light beings, um, that my body was doing what I said because I was in the hospital having my daughter through an emergency C-section because of placenta abruptia. And I was talking with the shiny light beings who gave me the choice to live or die very lovingly. And so I can tell you that space is fabulous. It's amazing. I was insistent that I was going to live. And although I was in quote unquote spirit form, it felt like as real as this body, right then and there. I stamped my little foot, told them I was going to live, I was going to have my daughter. That was it. And then they told me if I did choose that, and this is all loving, really loving and open, I was going to do it alone. It was going to be difficult, and I'd have to take off my rose colored glasses. So that was a while ago because I was 38. God, I'm almost the opposite now. Wow. Wow. Okay. Because now I'm in my 80s, literally flip the numbers. And my daughter's great. I have grandchildren. The relationship is sometimes incredibly wonderful, and sometimes we're going to work on this. And I obviously chose to live. I have done it alone. I would love to say I have an amazing partner. Like the source is my partner, and my
That's
friends are
right.
my partner.
So what would
Really,
you?
I was really intrigued on your when I reviewed all your stuff in your website about your frequency stones. That was one of the things that stood out to me when I was reading all of your stuff, and so I made a note of it that I wanted to ask you about how you do that, and is it something we can do on our own, and
yeah.
how it all works. I'm an artist and I own an advertising agency, so I'm really creative, and color's really important to me as well. And it's been part of my spiritual journey. I used to wear a lot of black, and we started the podcast. It doesn't look good on me on TV, and it doesn't
No.
look good. So I had to make choices, and I'm embracing the color a little bit. I've
Yes,
done a
you are.
lot better, but so I'm really interested to hear more about those, your
Okay,
frequency stones and how that works.
I
And
can run in the next room. I meant to have them here, but I
yeah,
was
please
painting
do.
them. Okay, you want me to get a couple?
Sure.
100%.
Okay, hold 1 sec. Okay, so these are two medium-sized ones. Can you see it?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I have a gratitude rock. That would be awesome.
I always pick up rocks when I go places. I don't know why, but you'll notice like I have like a container garden and flowers where I live, and I'll have like rocks in them from different places that I pick up when I find an interesting one. So maybe
Here's
I should
another
paint
one.
them. Oh, that's
Ooh,
nice.
They all have crystals. So here's how I do it. Okay, before I paint, before I come on the podcast, before I do any of this, I raise my frequency. And I do it through certain breathing techniques and intention and various things. And I can do one breathing technique well, here on this podcast, not
sure.
alone.
Oh, we'd love it.
We would love
Yeah,
it. Let's do it right
Okay,
now.
we'll teach
we're
that.
down. Let's do it.
So so I lift my frequency. I do this on the floor. Okay, I have to have my rocks all around me and my drop cloth because I make a mess, and I don't wear this. I have a different outfit. Okay,
I paint, so I get you. I make a big
yeah,
mess too.
it's a completely different thing. I ask to be guided, and then I get into it. I may have a vibe to use certain colors, whatever, and I get into the vibrational energy and make them. And there's only so much one can do at a time because it's paint, it's wet. Okay, so one can't paint the whole thing because you just can't because it's paint and it's wet. So I let it dry and I paint several at a time because I like to paint. And as they dry, when they dry, I get into the next phase. And by the time I'm done, this is what these two look like. I have a slew of them. I have itty bitty teeny ones. One can hold them and they get grounded because it is a rock. And these rocks are from Costa Rica. Pick them up along the road or on the beach, which are lighter, and all of that. They live in my house, and I do meditation and prayer and frequency lifting all the time. And that's imbued into this because everything is connected. Even physics now knows this. It's not just metaphysics, it's hard, quote unquote, hard science physics. And you can look at Nassim Haramein and his, what's it called? It'll come back to me, the name of the website, and all of this. It's free. He gives free course. And when it's done, and I'll know when it's done, I'll get a vibe it's done. I put crystals on them. And if they're big like this, I will sign them. If they're itty bitty teeny, I can't because itty bitty teeny. And then they're available for whomever chooses to purchase them. And that's how.
Awesome.
And in English, they're frequency stones because they raise your frequency. In Spanish, because I am in Costa Rica, they are Piedras Preciosas, which means precious rocks. And that's how I do it. Everybody will do it their own way. And I'll tell you this, people love them. The big ones, I only can paint as much as I can lift. I can't lift it.
Right.
So I don't paint it because how am I going to move it?
Right.
Okay, it's that simple. And I'm 4'10", and I weigh maybe 94, 5 pounds or something like that because I'm not so humongously tall. So I have some this big, like in two hands, and that's how you do it. And it changes the vibration wherever they are. And I don't know if people know this. I think it's obvious, but let me say it. Part of what we need now in the midst of all the change and shift that's going, SHIFT shift, that's going on, okay, is something gorgeous and beautiful. Because beauty, by just being beautiful, shifts our brain patterns, up levels who we are, helps
Oh,
open the
yes.
heart. And when the heart is open and loving, and if anyone knows the Heart Math Institute, HMI, the heart has its own brain that is more powerful than the brain in the head and will guide the brain in the head. So
And they've
having,
proven that. I read a scientific,
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big nerd. I read a scientific study about all of the different nerve and nerve clusters and different things they found in your heart. I mean, they found the brain and the intestines and all of that, but specifically in the heart and how they communicate back and forth.
Yeah.
And that you do have, like, your heart language is a little bit different, but that
Yes.
lots of things generate here.
Yes. When
as
we're leading
opposed
from
to brain.
here,
Yeah.
when we're leading from our heart,
and
of
that's
course,
really
it's
needed now. Okay, there's even some kind of little heart something. or brain thing in our, like the not the groin, the not the intestines, but the lower
The
part of
womb.
the body, the
Yeah.
abdomen, which
Yeah.
also, but it's the heart brain that is, so far as I know at the moment, the very, very strongest. And what do we need now on the earth right now? I mean, honestly, love. And
Love.
We
love is
do.
not this little blah, 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 blah. Love is an amazing, powerful, vibrational energy and action. It is both an energy and a frequency, and it is action. It
Well,
is
that's why
action
I
taken with that energy.
that's
So
why I feel. Oh, go ahead.
would you like to do a relatively simple breathing attunement that will help raise frequency?
Yep.
100%. We would love to.
Let's do it.
We both meditate. I've been meditating for about 13 or 14 years. I love breath work, and it's life.
It's life. Yeah.
It's life. So we
So
would love
this,
it, and our listeners would love it. We've never done this on the show before,
Nope.
so
So let's
let's
do it.
let's do it.
okay, perfect. So I'm going to explain what it is. I'm going to do it. And so please participate. Don't just listen, literally
No, we're
do
gonna
it.
do it.
And
Okay.
then I'm
Yep.
going to ask you how you feel.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Let's do what Audrey has. We're ready.
Yes.
Okay. So this is called the lifting process. I learned it from Patricia Hayes when I was studying what we'll call the clears, the psychic healing. If people don't like the word psychic, I don't care what you call it, clairvoyant, extrasensory, beyond the
Intuition.
stuff, all that stuff. And that's what, by the way, all that is more powerful than logic, by the way, and will give us a truer thing. So I learned it there. And what we're going to be doing first, because I am a channel, and I love channeling healing energy. So I will start by sending healing energy to various aspects of who you are. If anyone does not want it, you don't have to have it. You can simply say no. It will not like go into you, it'll go around you. So if you want it later, you can call on it. And when we actually do the lifting process, it's simple. All you do is you allow. You will say, and I'll say it for you now. You say, I'm getting higher and higher, lighter and lighter, freer and freer. And you simply allow it to occur. You don't grab for it. You don't push at it. You don't for it. You allow it, and then we shall see what happens. It is a way of going from, let's call it third dimensional reality to a higher spiritual reality. If somebody wants to measure all the levels, go ahead. I don't do that. I allow the frequency to happen, and that's what I do. So I'm going to drink. This is water, by the way. I'm going to drink some water.
I'm ready. This is gonna be good.
I know. Let's do this.
By the way, stay hydrated, 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 hydrated. One of the causes of illness and disease is lack of hydration, dehydration. A lot of people don't even know they're dehydrated. They think you have to be parched out. No, no, you have to keep hydrating. Okay, so I'm going to lift my frequency, then I'm going to send energy, and then I'm going to repeat and guide you. Okay,
Okay.
and thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I love this. Breathe golden light into your heart. Fill yourself with the power of beauty and love. Breathe in fuchsia into your whole Merkaba, your energy body, and breathe in white light, protection, blessings, abundance. And now, breathe comfortably And allow yourself to get higher and higher, lighter and
Lighter and
lighter,
lighter.
freer and freer. You're getting higher, higher, lighter, freer. Higher, lighter, freer. Allow yourself to fill with the beauty of your being, of your connection to the infinite, that you are part of. You and the infinite are one as you get higher, lighter, and freer. Now, I shall be silent and allow you to be in this energy. And if you choose, you may simply dwell and play in it. You may also choose to send healing energy to yourself or to whomever else. Enjoy the experience. And I will return when the time is correct and bring you forth. Now, keeping your eyes closed, as you feel ready, you may gently and softly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. As you feel ready, you may begin to move your hands on your wrists, your feet on your ankles. You may slowly, gently, and lovingly begin to pat your body and gently, gently move. And when you have your head upright on your neck, comfortably, relaxedly facing forward, and you feel ready, you may slowly, slowly begin to open your eyes and look with what we call a soft eye. And when you feel ready to speak, how do you feel?
Feel great.
I feel fantastic.
The big thing before we go any further, I will timestamp that for everybody just in case you are driving in the car. So that way when you get home, you can go back and do that. So please don't do that in the car.
Right. Little guided meditation. So fantastic. And I love the lighter and lighter and higher. Because when I meditate, I really, it is a feeling of I'm lighter and I'm in the white light when I do my, out of body and really get deep into it. So I hope everyone really loves that. I didn't see guided meditations on your website. Do you offer those?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, I'm doing them all the time. They're given to me.
Fantastic. Well, we unfortunately have come to the end of our time. It goes so fast, right? It was such a great episode, and we have never had any guided meditation on the show before, so we're so grateful for that, and we so enjoyed having you for a guest.
Thank
If our
you.
audience would like to learn more about your coaching services or your frequency stones, what's the best way for them to do that?
Okay, even though I'm in Costa Rica, I have a US SIM card in my phone. So I'm literally a phone call away, plus on WhatsApp. So my name is Audrye, Audrye. My website is AudryeNow, AudryeNow.com. And my phone is 917 494 0628. 917 494 0628. If you call me, leave a message because I may not always answer. I get a lot of calls that are not real calls. I don't have to explain that to anyone these days.
No, and I
Right.
love the octogenarian, the phone calls, right? That's
Right.
such your generation. I love that so much. It
I
speaks to
still
me
do
from
that. I
advertising.
do.
Yes, lots of people do the
Yes.
phone call thing. Well, we
Okay.
have so enjoyed. We will have links to Audrey's website and her phone number in the show notes, so you can link to those. And as always, you can visit us at dealswithheels.com. You can email us at deals@dealswithheels.com, and you can find a link to Christina's website for the Declutter Queen and my website for Hexagon Media, also linked in the show notes. Obviously, folks, the show notes is where it's all happening. So please check that out. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe and share on social media. And until next week, we're out.